Welcome to The Explainer. Let's just dive right into it. We've all heard the myth, right? We've seen the sci-fi movies, and honestly, you've probably daydreamed about it yourself during a brutal late-night study session or a super long day at work. What if humans actually used 100% of their brains? Well, today we're going to completely break down this ultimate biological what-if scenario. We'll explore the crazy peaks of human potential, the absolute chaos it'd cause on a global scale, and finally, the actual, surprising scientific reality of how our minds work. Okay, take a second and really put yourself in this scenario. Imagine you wake up tomorrow morning operating at exactly 100% cognitive capacity. Boom. That daily mental fog we all deal with? Completely gone. You are, without a doubt, the smartest person on the planet. Though, let's be real, you might still occasionally forget where you put your car keys. But seriously, does this newly upgraded mind elevate you to some higher state of being, or does the sheer volume of processing power just totally overwhelm your system? It's a pretty thrilling premise to kick things off with.
Section 1. The Ultimate Brain Upgrade.
Before we zoom out to the whole world, we gotta look at what happens to you. How does this upgrade actually play out in your day-to-day life? First up, your recall becomes absolute. Every single book you've ever read, every random passing conversation, it's all instantly accessible. Second, you learn new skills at literal lightning speed. You could realistically master a complex new language before you even sit down for lunch. Third, you're analyzing multi-layered problems in seconds. Stuff that used to take you days of head-scratching is now solved in just a brief moment of pure clarity. And finally, you get this incredibly precise physical control. Your mind maps to your muscles perfectly, basically giving you Olympic-level coordination and agility overnight. This right here is the ultimate superpower phase.
Section 2. A world transformed.
Now, think about what happens when it isn't just you. What if billions of people are suddenly operating at this exact same genius level? The entire timeline of human progress just collapses. The way we work, learn, and innovate changes forever. Think about a massive engineering project, like building a space elevator, or a groundbreaking medical trial. Things that used to take decades of grueling labor, massive funding, and endless trial and error, they're now completed flawlessly in just a few short months. Global productivity goes completely off the charts, and we'd literally leap forward centuries in technological advancement almost overnight.
But that brings us to a massive, unavoidable complication. If everyone is suddenly a supreme genius, well, who controls the technology? When the playing field is entirely leveled at maximum intelligence, the established power dynamics of our world completely fracture. I mean, you now have billions of people who can perfectly understand, build, and potentially hack any system in existence. How do you govern a world where literally everyone is a mastermind? It introduces this fascinating and honestly deeply unsettling societal tension.
Section 3. The Technology Tipping Point.
Here is where the paradigm shifts completely. Human intelligence would actually render artificial intelligence totally obsolete. Right now, we look at AI as the ultimate unbeatable data processor, right? We're constantly trying to build better algorithms. But in this hyper-evolved scenario, human organic processing power leaves our silicon creations entirely in the dust. We wouldn't even need machine learning because human learning would be infinitely faster, deeply nuanced, and vastly more creative. We'd start inventing conceptual technologies that are completely unimaginable to us right now, shifting our reality in ways we can't even begin to predict.
Now, as our brain power increases exponentially, so does human ambition. And with that ambition comes monumental risk. Building functional cities on Mars? That's high risk, sure, but incredibly feasible for this upgraded humanity. How about time machines? Now the risk jumps to extreme, because we're bending the very laws of physics. And then, we inevitably hit the critical threshold. Things that simply should not be built. Weapons of profound destruction or existential reality-bending tools. Because when the human mind has absolutely no limits, there is really nothing stopping a rogue genius from engineering apocalyptic threats simply because they have the intellectual capacity to do so.
Section 4. The Scientific Truth.
All right, time to pull the rug out a bit and look at actual biology. The foundation of this whole fascinating sci-fi scenario is the famous 10% myth. It's a hugely pervasive Hollywood trope that insists humans only use a small fraction of their brain, leaving the vast majority of it just dormant, waiting to be magically unlocked by a special pill or some freak accident. The truth is, we don't start at 10% and linearly level up to 100. That is pure cinematic fiction, completely divorced from actual neurology.
The scientific reality?
We already use 100% of our brains. The brain is entirely active all the time, but its immense capacity is highly optimized and split into simultaneous, specialized functions. You have dedicated neural pathways constantly firing for breathing, moving your muscles, complex thinking, and cataloging memory. In fact, the brain is incredibly metabolically expensive. It uses about 20% of your body's energy, despite being only 2% of its total weight. Think about that. If every single neuron in your brain actually fired at maximum capacity all at once, you wouldn't suddenly become a super genius. You would actually likely have a massive debilitating seizure. Our brains are beautifully, evolutionarily hyper-efficient, distributing power exactly where it's needed, exactly when it's needed.
So, the crucial takeaway from this explainer is that we already possess incredible hardware. The real challenge isn't about unlocking dormant, magical percentages. It's about what we choose to do with the immense capacity and potential we already possess. If humanity continues to push the limits of our collective minds through education, empathy, and innovation, will we use that inherent genius to build a radically better future? Or will we destroy the world by our own hands? I'm going to leave you to think on that. Thanks so much for joining me today.